I don't know what that was. Today I'm gonna be reacting to some more scary animations. So let's have some fun. The last video kinda sucked, and I did record a video after that I deleted because it also sucked. So hopefully we get some good animations. Some good animations. Anyway. So this video that I'm going to be reacting to is called 5 True Creepy Horror Stories by MGV Animations. MGV? No, MGV. So go check them out. We'll see if they're any good.
This is something that happened recently when I was working at Subway.
I know I paused the video so much, but I actually used to work at Subway. I also just have to say this real quick. I know it looks like I don't have eyebrows right now. I swear I do. I swear. Look, they're there. I just didn't feel like painting them on today. And with the giant eyelashes, it's hard to see, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. But yeah, I used to work at Subway for like 2 days and then I quit because it was bad. I can't get into that.
I've worked here for almost a year now, and I work in a Subway that
Longer than I did.
as average. We're not in a super busy area, but we're also not in the middle of nowhere. So one day, at a quiet time in the afternoon, this man came in. I was working behind the counter, and there wasn't anybody else in the store at the time, except for my coworker who was in the back. I'm guessing that it was like 2 or 3 p.m., kind of between the rush of lunch and dinner when it was quiet. So the man walked in and came to the spot where you...
I'm sorry, but what's scary about something happening from 2 to 3 p.m.? Like, 2 to 3 a.m. would have been scary, but p.m.? Come on.
...start to order. When I asked him what he wanted, he said that he wanted one of the $5 footlongs. Right away, the guy did not seem to be in the greatest of moods. I asked him what kind of bread he wanted and started to go towards the breads to get a footlong. But before he answered, I
Why is one of the breads just called footlong? That's not right.
thought I should tell him that the footlongs are not $5 anymore.
Wait, did he not tell him that they're not $5 anymore? Or, hold on.
In fact,
Let me listen.
I'm pretty sure that the $5 footlong promotion hasn't been around in at least 10 years. When I told him this, the
That's
man
not
was
true.
not happy about it at all. I kind of thought the guy was half joking when he said it in the first place, because it's been so long, but apparently he wasn't. He asked me what the price was, and when I told him, he basically started going on a rant. He said how we always advertised the $5 footlong for so long, and claimed that the last time he went to Subway he had got one.
Well, maybe the last time he went to Subway was in like 2012. Like, okay, I'm pretty sure they don't, like, I know that they don't do the $5 footlongs anymore, but they do have deals where you can get like buy one get one free. So pretty much you're getting 2 sandwiches for like $10, which equals $5.
Well, I don't know when exactly that was. It could have been years ago.
Yeah.
But we certainly never had $5 footlongs in the time that I worked at this Subway. I told him that I
The eye contact is crazy.
didn't make the prices. I just worked here.
Yeah.
He started saying how he was going to call up Subway corporate.
Okay.
And he was going to call my manager and stuff.
Okay.
I really didn't know what the guy's problem was. Finally, he asked me how cheap I was willing to go on the price of the sandwich, as if I was selling something to him at a pawn shop. I told him that I couldn't negotiate the price. I didn't have that kind of power.
If someone's like, how low can you go on this footlong price? I'm gonna say the price of the footlong. Like, I've worked in customer service for so long now that I do not want to put up with anybody's schnizzle. I am done putting up with their schnizzle. I'm sorry if I'm really loud too. I can get loud sometimes.
The man then cursed at me, which made me angry, and I yelled at him to get out. But this only made him more upset. He started ranting again about Subway and me, and ended it by saying that I should be fired. I told him to leave or I was going to call the cops on him. My coworker, who had been in the back, now finally came out to see what was causing the commotion. He also told the man to leave. Finally, the guy leaned into me and said that he would be back for me, whatever that meant. Then he turned and stormed out.
He said, I'll be back for you, whatever that means.
It was the craziest thing. My coworker and I talked about the incident for a while. We were just glad that the guy was gone. Soon, we got some other customers and went on with the day. It got busy for a while in the evening, and then it quieted down again at night. My coworker left and went home, and then I was alone to close the store.
Yikes.
Normally, things would be very quiet in the last hour.
The thing about that is I'm pretty sure you can't close alone. I might be wrong about that because, like I said, I only worked for 2 days. But unless you're a manager, I don't think you can close alone just because of like cash register reasons. Like you have to count the money at the end of the day. I don't know.
So we got probably just one customer in the final hour that we were open that night. Then at 9 o'clock, we were closed. I went over and locked the door, then headed back to clean up before I could leave. But as I was doing so, I suddenly heard the sound of someone trying to open the door. I looked up and saw the same man from earlier who was angry about the $5 footlong. I got a bad feeling when I saw him.
$5, $5, $5 footlong.
He stood at the door and then started loudly knocking on it. He saw me behind the counter and then started to yell at me. I yelled at him to go away and said that we were closed. The man yelled something else, but I couldn't really understand it. Then I went into the back. I hoped that the guy would go away. I did some cleaning in the back area.
So far, this guy is doing everything right. So whatever happens next... Oh dear.
And didn't hear him for a little while. When I came back, though, he was still there. Now he was just kind of pacing back and forth on the sidewalk out front. It didn't seem like he was going to leave. I finished up all the things that I had to do, and then I was ready to go. But when I did, the man was still there, pacing back and forth out front. I knew that he was waiting for me, so at that point, I called the police. I told them the story of the guy and how he was out front. Then I just waited. When the police got there, the man was still out front. They talked to him and eventually got him to leave. After that, I was finally able to go home. Looking back at that situation, I feel lucky that I locked the doors right at 9 p.m. when we closed. The man got there just minutes later. If he had gotten inside...
If it's gonna be another one of those, and I wonder what would have happened if I didn't, blah, 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 blah.
At the restaurant, I don't know what would have happened. Since that incident, I haven't seen the guy,
Okay.
and I'm hoping that I never do again.
Okay, that one was good. It did seem true, which I liked. Yeah, I mean, I liked that animation. There wasn't a lot of... Like, there wasn't a good payoff, but at the same time, you don't really get as much payoff with true stories. So, for that, it was good.
I own a house, and I live by myself in it. I've not lived there for really that long.
In 2024, owning a house and living alone, oh, beautiful, amazing. Congratulations. You have made it.
Maybe 6 months. This is something that happened just a few weeks ago now. So for some background, I've always considered the neighborhood to be very average. It's not like a wealthy area, but it's also not known to be a bad neighborhood. Most of the people that I've met have been really nice. Of course, I didn't meet all my neighbors, but just a few. In the entire 6 months or so that I've lived in my house, everything has been fine, except for one night. A couple of weeks ago, like I mentioned, something really strange happened. I was in my living room sitting on my couch late.
Is he high? Is he high or is he just tired?
One night. I think it was about 11 p.m. All of a sudden, my doorbell rang like 3 or 4 times in a row. It was really surprising. I didn't know why somebody would be at my house this late. I got up from the couch and walked over to the door. When I got there, I looked out of the window and nobody was there. I even opened up the door and went out onto the front step. I looked around but didn't see anybody. So then I went back inside of my house. But just a minute later, there was a knock on the front door.
Oh,
It
hell
was very
nah.
loud.
Hell nah. If I'm home alone in any instance and I hear knocking at the door, like, I don't care if I'm expecting like a food delivery or anything, I'm not opening that door. Like, I will avoid it. I will go into my room, lock the door, go into my bathroom, lock the door, and then go into my closet. And there's no lock on that door. But I'm just avoiding it at all costs because I am so terrified, especially if I'm home alone, especially as a woman. A woman.
Out, and I went over to the door again. But once more, whoever had knocked was gone.
He's just getting
At this
ding-dong
point,
ditched.
I figured that it was probably some neighborhood kids ding-dong ditching me. I thought they probably wouldn't come back. I waited around by the front door for a little while anyways, though. After a few minutes, nobody came back, so I finally returned to the living room. Maybe 10 minutes after this, there was a loud banging on the front door again. This time, I heard them knocking on a front window as well. I ran from the living room as fast as I could to get over to the front door. When I arrived, the people had stopped, but I was just able to see them running away. I saw what appeared to be 3 grown men running from the end of my driveway.
3 grown men? I thought they were gonna be children running like that, but no, those are grown men. That is a grown man run.
And into the street. I had figured it to be teenagers, but these guys looked a little older. Still, it was probably just a harmless prank. But the fact that one of them was banging on the front window next to the door this time was a little bit weird. After 10 minutes went by with nothing, I returned to the other room again. Some more time went by, and I actually thought that they were gone for good now.
He looks so terrified. Oh my god. That reminds me of Pooh when he's like sad or when he's hungry. I can't remember, but Pooh is like all shaky. Oh my god, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that just sounds weird.
By this time, it was getting really late, but then they came back yet again, and this time was the worst by far. I first heard a really loud knock at the front door. I started running over there again. As I was doing so, I suddenly heard the sound of glass breaking. When I arrived near the front door, I saw that the window in my front door had been broken. There was glass on the ground, and this made me so angry that I ran over to the door and went outside. I saw the same 3 men running away into the street. I ran through my front yard and into the street after them. They were pretty far ahead of me, but I saw them go into a...
I hope he like locked his door or closed his door before going. I doubt he did, but yikes, I don't want another scream.
House that was almost at the end of the street. After they all went inside, I kept going down the street until I got to the house. My plan was to confront them. This was not a silly joke anymore, but now a crime. Their house was probably the worst looking one on the entire street. I walked up to the front door and knocked on it, but nobody responded. I continued to knock on their door, and I wasn't going to go away. After I was knocking for a few minutes, I heard somebody yell from inside for me to leave. I yelled back that they broke my window. There was a few minutes of nothing. But then, I heard somebody coming from behind the house. There was a person out in the yard. I couldn't see much because they had no porch light there or anything. Moments after hearing whoever it was get to the side of the house, I looked over, and then I heard something whiz past my head and hit a bush. Somebody threw a rock at me. Then another one nearly hit me, and instead hit the side of the house. I turned around and started running away. When I was sprinting off the property, I heard at least 2 people laughing, which made me really mad. Still, I couldn't stay there. I got back to my house and was not chased or anything. Once I was there, I called the police. They came out a short time later.
Those kids are kind of stupid because they just ran back to their house and now that dude knows where they live. Like, and then they were also, okay, so on top of breaking his window, they also assaulted him by throwing rocks at him, or attempted assault.
And after showing them my window and telling them what had happened, they went over to the neighbors. Apparently, about 5 adults lived in that house, and
fuck?
most of them were drug addicts. They had multiple illegal drugs inside of the house.
I'm sorry, but okay, I could be wrong about this, but I've never heard of a drug addict who plays Ding Dong Ditch, then throws rocks at somebody. Like, I don't know, I feel like drug addicts are just too wrapped up in their own mind that they don't do that, but I guess I don't know.
So when the cops showed up at the front door, they panicked and one guy tried running away. The police ended up going inside and finding the drugs, and multiple people were arrested. I also pressed charges against them for both throwing rocks at me and breaking my window. Shortly after that, the house was sold to new owners who turned the place around.
They turned it into an apartment? That's what they did? An apartment? Okay.
I used to live in this old apartment building. My name is Sabrina, and
Hi,
it
Sabrina.
took place about 5 years ago now. My place had 1 bedroom and 1.5 bathrooms. Overall, it was not the greatest,
nice.
but I didn't mind it.
What do you mean not the greatest? 1.5 bathrooms? That's fucking goated. That's goated.
I was on the 2nd floor, and and there were lots of other people living in the building. But several months after I had started living there, I got a new next-door neighbor. His name was Arthur, and he was a creep from almost the very start.
Is he wearing blue eyeshadow?
Know that the way he met me was strange enough. I left my apartment and was walking down the hallway. He came up behind me and tapped me on the shoulder, startling me. Then he introduced himself, and it was really awkward. He told me that he lived next door and stuff, and from that point I thought maybe he was just an awkward guy. But he spoke to me a couple more times and didn't really seem shy or anything. In fact, the next time that I saw him, he was just standing out in the hallway, not...
No. 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 No.
really seeming to be going anywhere. When I left my place, he approached me and asked me if I wanted to come over to his place. I said,
you want to come over to my place? No.
said that I was busy and I had to go somewhere, and I declined. After this, Arthur tried to ask me out a couple of times when he saw me in the hallway, but I said no each time. He struck me as a little...
Take a hint, dude. One no means no. Unless you're vibing like 6 months later, you can ask again. But if it's no vibes and not 6 months later, biggest red flag.
A bit odd and creepy. All of these interactions with him happened within the first month that he lived there. It was starting to get annoying, because
The
it
first
seemed like
month?
almost half the time that I left my place, he would leave after me or be in the hallway. And one night, I was in my apartment.
Get a life, dude. Just get a life.
I went to take out my trash. We did not have a trash chute on my floor, and we had to walk all the way down to the basement to take it out.
That sucks.
So I got on my flip-flops and left my place and walked down to the basement.
Please tell me you locked your
I
door.
was gone for maybe 2 or...
I don't think she locked her door. I don't think... Oh, no, girly. You have to always lock your door. Like, I don't care if you're leaving it for, like, 2 seconds. Lock your door.
3 minutes at most. Then I returned to my apartment and went back inside of it.
She
It
didn't
was
lock
kind of
it.
late at this point, and I was tired, so I decided to get ready for bed. I wasn't necessarily planning to go to sleep right away, but probably just watch some shows in bed. So I started to go around and turn all the lights off in my place. When I passed by my broom closet, I was sure that I heard a noise inside of it. This was very weird. I didn't know what it could be.
I'm sorry, but at some point, there is something that you could do to prevent this. If you have a weird neighbor, lock your door anytime you leave your apartment. Please. Just please.
Last thing that I was expecting was for a person to be in there. But when I opened the door, I saw Arthur standing right inside. I jumped back and started running for my bedroom. Arthur emerged from the...
You're running for the bedroom. Not the door, the bedroom. This is a classic horror movie thing. What did they pull this character straight out of freaking Scream? Oh my god.
the broom closet and then actually started going after me. After I got inside my bedroom, I slammed the door shut, but I didn't have enough time to lock it.
I'm sorry, but in-unit laundry? In-unit laundry?
Arthur was there within seconds, and I saw him starting to open the door. I had the half bathroom attached to my bedroom, and I ran for that door. I got inside and shut the door behind me just after Arthur had gotten inside of my bedroom. This door had a slightly different lock, and I was just able to lock it on time before Arthur reached. He then tried opening the door and then started banging on it. Fortunately, I had my cell phone in my pocket. I dialed 911 as fast as I could. Neither Arthur or me said anything in this time. After trying to open the bathroom door multiple times, Arthur then started banging on it. I finally spoke and yelled that I had called the police. Then I talked to the 911 operator. I told her exactly what was going on. In this time, Arthur finally walked away from the bathroom door. However, I couldn't tell if he had left my apartment or was just in the other room, so I stayed hidden in the bathroom. It felt like forever that I was waiting until the police showed up.
If I was seriously waiting, I'd just start playing some video games on my phone and be like, alright, time to open up Dress to Impress.
In that time, I didn't hear anything, and when they got there, I finally came out of the bathroom. but Arthur was not in my apartment anywhere.
Okay,
I
that's
told
good.
the police where he lived, which was obviously right next door, but Arthur had left. Eventually, though, the police were able to locate him. Apparently, he had gotten into similar trouble in the past and had a bit of a history. I obviously didn't lock my door when I went to take out the trash that night. Arthur must have just walked right in and hid in my closet. I'm glad that I found him when I did, even though that made for one of the scariest moments of my life.
I'm sorry, but you can't just leave your door unlocked, okay? That's not okay. You can't do that. You can't do that. So those are gonna be all the animations that I react to today. If you want me to do another one of these videos, I totally will, but I saw the last comment that somebody said I should do this again. So this is for you, Shotty. Thank you. I don't know where all that cuntiness came from. Oh my god, that word is just such a weird word for me to use. I am so sorry. I apologize. But it is getting later and I don't want to be super loud for my neighbors. So, more Dead by Daylight content coming soon. Love you. Bye. I forgot to put this in the actual video, but happy 200th video, Shotty. It's my 200th video.